It started subtly, as these things always do. I was driving home late one night from a friend's place, a route I've taken 100 times, but for some reason my mind blanked. No big deal, right? I just pulled up the GPS on my phone, typed in my address, and let the calm digital voice guide me. The first strange turn came when it told me to exit the Highway 3 exits early. I thought it was just a glitch, maybe trying to avoid some phantom traffic jam, so I followed it. Down a series of increasingly narrow and unfamiliar roads, the streetlights grew sparse, eventually disappearing altogether. The voice chirped, "Your destination is on the right," and there it was. Not my cozy apartment building, but a derelict house. It was a 2-story Victorian, the kind that was probably beautiful a century ago. Now, its windows were like vacant eyes, the porch sagged like a tired sigh, and the paint was peeling in ghostly white strips. A massive, dead oak tree stood guard in the front yard, its branches clawing at the night sky. My phone screen glowed, insisting I had arrived. I felt a cold knot tighten in my stomach. This was definitely not my home. I quickly re-entered my address, double-checking every letter. The GPS recalculated, and this time it led me home without any detours. The next week, I had a job interview across town. "Turn left now," the voice instructed. I knew this was wrong. The office building was straight ahead. But I was flustered, and in a split second of indecision, I made the turn. Another left, then a right. The scenery started to look disturbingly familiar. And then there it was again. The same abandoned house, looking even more menacing in the daylight. The GPS announced cheerfully, "You have arrived." My blood ran cold. This wasn't a glitch anymore. It felt targeted. It felt like something was deliberately pulling me here. I ended up being 20 minutes late for my interview, a rambling, sweaty mess trying to explain a navigation error. They didn't call me back. That night, I deleted the app and downloaded a new one. I thought that would be the end of it. I was wrong. A few days later, I was supposed to meet my sister for lunch. Different interface, different voice, different company. It had to be fine. I was relaxed, listening to music, almost forgetting the past 2 incidents. Then, about a mile from the restaurant, the new app told me to take a detour. "Accident reported ahead," it declared. My heart started pounding. I hesitated at the intersection. Just stay on the main road. But a morbid curiosity, a terrifying pull, was stronger. I made the turn. The detour led me through a quiet residential neighborhood I'd never seen before. Each turn felt like a step deeper into a trap. My hands were slick with sweat on the steering wheel. I knew where I was going before I even saw it. It was like it had been teleported here, waiting just for me. This time I didn't drive away immediately. I just sat there, engine idling, staring at it. It looked different. I could have sworn one of the curtains in an upstairs window twitched. It was probably just the wind, I told myself, but I didn't believe it. I felt like I was being watched. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that house. I tried driving without a GPS, relying on my own memory, on old paper maps, but I'd get lost. I'd find myself on a street I didn't recognize, and at the end of it, the house would be there. It wasn't in the same location. It was as if the house itself was moving, hunting me. It appeared in an industrial park once. Another time, it was nestled between 2 modern mansions in a wealthy suburb. It was always the same house, with the same dead oak tree, the same sagging porch. The digital voice of the GPS, any GPS, was its herald. I stopped going out unless it was absolutely necessary. I told my sister about it, and she looked at me with pity, suggesting I was overworked and stressed. She recommended I see a therapist. Maybe she was right. Maybe I was having some kind of breakdown, but it all felt so real. One night, desperation got the better of me. I had to know. I had to understand what was happening. I opened my original GPS app, the one that had started it all. I didn't type in an address. I just hit the home button, and I started driving. The voice was calm, serene, as it guided me away from my apartment onto the highway and then off an exit I'd never taken before. The journey felt longer this time, a pilgrimage into the heart of the night. The roads became dirt paths, the trees overhead blocking out the moon. Finally, the voice said, "Your destination is on the right." Every instinct was screaming at me to get back in my car and drive until I ran out of gas. But I couldn't. I had to know. Moonlight streamed through a grime-covered window, illuminating a grand staircase. As I stepped inside, the door slammed shut behind me with a deafening boom. I spun around, my heart leaping into my throat, but the door was sealed tight. It wouldn't budge. Panic set in. I was trapped. My phone had no signal. I was completely alone. The inside was as decayed as the outside. Furniture was draped in white cloths like sleeping giants. Portraits on the wall had faces scratched out. I started to explore, my phone's flashlight cutting a weak beam through the darkness. My city, my state, but they were all marked up with red ink, with roots and symbols I didn't understand. And in the center of each map, there was a drawing of this house. It was a nexus, a point that all roads eventually led to. I heard a floorboard creak upstairs. I froze, listening, silence, then a soft, dragging sound. It was coming closer. I hid behind the desk, my body trembling. The dragging sound reached the top of the stairs and then started its slow descent. From my hiding spot, I saw a pair of feet appear on the staircase. Old, worn leather shoes, slowly scuffing down one step at a time. The person or thing was carrying a lantern, casting long, dancing shadows across the hall. As it reached the bottom of the stairs, I could see it more clearly. It was a figure in a dark, old-fashioned suit, but I couldn't see a face. The shadowy head turned, scanning the room. It felt like it was looking right through me. Then a voice echoed in the hall, a voice that was both ancient and digital. The figure raised a hand, and in it was a small, glowing device like an old-fashioned GPS unit. I scrambled out from behind the desk and sprinted towards the back of the house. I burst through a kitchen door and into a backyard overgrown with thorns and weeds. I didn't look back. I ran and ran, bush tearing at my clothes, until I stumbled out onto a paved road. I saw headlights in the distance and flagged the car down. The driver was a kind old man who looked at my disheveled state with alarm. I babbled something about getting lost and my car breaking down. He drove me to a 24-hour diner, and I called a cab from there. It was just an empty piece of land at the end of a dead-end street. I think I'm safe now. I threw my phone in a river. I navigate by the sun and the stars, or I don't go at all. My friends think I had a mental breakdown. Maybe I did. A calm, digital voice, whispering. Recalculating, and I just start running. I don't know what that house was or what that thing inside it wanted. All I know is that it's still out there, hunting. It's rerouting, finding a new path. And I have a terrible feeling that one day, no matter which way I turn, all roads will lead me back there. Because my destination is set, and I'm just trying to outrun the estimated time of arrival. Thanks for listening, and if your GPS ever tries to take you on a scenic route, just keep driving straight. Trust me.